No country in the world is buying more planes than India. In 2023, Air India ordered 470 planes worth over $70 billion, while Indigo ordered 500 at a list price of $50 billion. Mumbai-based Akasa Air had to get in on some of the action too. They ordered 150 737 MAX jets, worth about $20 billion at list prices. In total, Indian Airlines ordered 1,100 aircraft in 2023. U.S. Airlines ordered just 352. Now, don't get me wrong, India has a long way to go before it catches up with the U.S. and even China when it comes to domestic seat capacity, but still, this represents a huge shift for the world's largest country, whose aviation industry has lagged behind rail as the preferred method of long-distance domestic transport. So, why now? India has had over 1 billion people for the past 20 years, but many airlines have come and gone. Kingfisher, Jet Airways, and Go First, to name a few. And Air India has struggled for years under government ownership, but over the past decade, the number of commercial airports in India has doubled, meaning that domestic airlines can more effectively compete with rail. Simultaneously, the government has taken steps to enhance the business climate for airlines both domestically and abroad. In 2021, Air India was privatized and announced a major rebrand, as well as an investment from Singapore Airlines.
We think it is classy, modern, international, respects heritage, but really allows Air India to look brightly towards the future.
In 2022, Akasa Air launched with low-cost flights between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, and after 1 year of successful operations, plans to inaugurate its first international route this month. Hyderabad-based TrueJet, which went under in 2022, is being revived by NS Aviation, who plans to deploy 100 Airbus A320neos in the domestic market starting as early as this October. So in my view, more airports, a more level playing field for India's airlines, and also a renewed focus across the market on no-nonsense, bare-bones type service, one that's accessible and practical for as many Indians as possible, has injected new energy into the sector. However, ordering planes is one thing, filling them up is another. To really democratize India's aviation market, Indigo, SpiceJet, Akasa, and Air India are going to need to prove they can scale operations in some of these Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, some of which are seeing commercial air service for the first time. When I traveled through Nasik City, a domestic airport that sees around 100,000 passengers per year, the experience was far from seamless. Everything from security to bag drop to boarding took longer than it should have, and ultimately it would have taken us less time to drive or train to our destination than fly. But I also acknowledge there are some city pairs where flying is a no-brainer, even if that means waiting for your flight next to a bunch of cows on the highway in the blazing heat. Take Delhi to Darbhanga, for example, which is 20 hours by train or car, but under 2 hours by air. Now that's something I feel like people will pay up for if they can afford it. Now, I acknowledge I'm not an experienced Indian domestic flyer, so take my perspective with a grain of salt. I'm also biased as I have American domestic travel as my baseline, which is admittedly a much more mature market. Now, assuming airlines and the government can get things ironed out at the smaller airports, they'll also need to make sure the major ones, notably Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and Chennai, aren't falling behind and becoming bottlenecks. Delhi just opened a 4th runway last year and is doubling the capacity of its domestic terminal. And then, as if that wasn't enough, Delhi is getting another airport called Noida with 8 runways and capacity for over 60 million passengers per year. While over in Mumbai, they're also getting a new airport, this one designed to handle upwards of 90 million passengers by 2032. So it seems like the infrastructure is going to be there. The only other potential obstacle I see to aviation's continued growth, barring some unforeseen geopolitical event or economic turmoil, is the continued modernization of India's railways. Modi may be putting more airports on the map, but he also wants to give his citizens options. This means building lines like the Vande Bharat Express, which is specifically designed to better compete with airlines in terms of speed, amenities, and customer experience. We also have a Shinkansen-style bullet train on the way that will connect Mumbai and Ahmedabad, India's most ambitious rail project yet, reducing journey times between the two cities from 7 hours to just over 2. This project is pretty far along, but still isn't due for completion until 2026. And my bet is that the full line won't be open until some years after that. Anyways, back to aviation, where I believe there's a ton of promise and potential in one of the world's fastest growing economies. India's growth couldn't have come at a better time for Airbus and Boeing, who saw new orders slow from their other top customers in the US and Europe. Will India continue to order 1,000+ planes per year? Definitely not, but 2023 was a fascinating year for Indian aviation, and I'm excited to see what the likes of Air India and Indigo have in store for us in the next 5 to 10 years. But what do you guys think? Is aviation finally becoming mainstream in India? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for joining me today, and stay tuned for more Indian aviation content coming up in the near future.